5 signs you are not ready for the Great Awakening. This is going to be going over Great Awakening Signs 2020. Guys, we are currently going through a very interesting, very exciting time in human history where a Great Awakening is upon us. However, you might be doing certain things that are closing you off, not only to this Great Awakening, but to your own personal individual awakening in general. And so in this video, I want to bring that into your awareness and understand if you are displaying some of these signs, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's only where you are right now, and that's perfect. But by becoming aware of these things, by making certain shifts, you are allowing yourself to move more along your spiritual path, to become aware of things that are only going to guide you along this path. So that's coming up next. Hi there, my name is Dave, and this is HeartSpace if you are new to this channel, where we are creating videos almost every single day to help you live life more in your way. And you know, to me, that means living life from your heart. It means living your soul purpose. It means doing the things that allow you to be self-authorizing, making decisions in your life that you want to make. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and bell icon so you don't miss any content that we release. Now, again, I want to preface this video by saying, just because you might be displaying one of these signs, don't get disheartened. This is just to allow awareness so that if you are displaying one of these signs, you can look at it and go, do I want to change this? Do I want to do things that are going to help move me along a certain path? Or do I want to continue going down the path that might be closing me off to certain things? Again, there is no necessarily right or wrong when it comes to this. It is all a matter of choice. But if, for example, you say you want to awaken, that you want to follow more of what your spiritual path would be, you want to be more aligned to your or higher self, or more aligned to the universe, then it would go to say that you probably want to cut some of these things out and do some of the things I suggest in order to move away from some of these signs. But we're going to get into the very first one, and we're actually going to go in reverse order with number 5. So number 5 is probably one of the biggest ones on this list, because if you are doing this, it's just so hard to awaken. It's just so hard to gain the awareness you need to go on your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, this path that your soul is trying to take you down. And number 5, that you are not ready for the Great Awakening, is you are consistently consuming heavy content. And so what do I mean by that? So when I say heavy or light, what I'm usually referring to is energy. And heavy for me are the lower base emotions. Actually, if you feel these emotions, like you feel anger, fear, you'll actually notice that you feel more constricted, you feel more heavy. These are more dense emotions because they're usually moving in this very dense way. You're closed up. You don't want to move. You don't want to take action. You want to just sit there and kind of laze around a lot of times when you're in these emotions because they're very, very heavy. And so if you're consuming content that elicits that kind of reaction, elicits those kinds of emotions, then you're going to be closed off from content or information that is light and would come in more from a place of love, joy, gratitude, abundance, and enlightenment, peace, all of those emotions. You're cutting yourself off from those. And those are emotions that are required to gain more awareness, to become more awakened, because you're only ever going to get back what frequency you're on energetically. So for example, if you're on the energetic frequency of fear, you're only ever going to get related things to fear back. If you're on the frequency of love, however, you're only going to get related things back, meaning you're going to get things of joy, of love, abundance, and all those different things. Where in fear, you're going to probably get, more thoughts of jealousy, anger, more fear, more scared thoughts, all of these different things, right? And this is a very real thing. And so if you're consuming information, again, consuming is not just done through your mouth when you're eating food or drinking drinks or whatever. Consumption is done through any of your senses. So if you're visually watching something, hearing it, experiencing it, you are consuming it. And so if you are consuming information that is at a low consciousness level, and you're doing it all the time, you're watching, so I'll give you some examples. If you're watching things like the news, I would recommend you cut that out almost immediately. If you're watching a lot of sitcoms or normal TV, advertisement, these are things that are not calibrated at high levels of consciousness. Usually these are things that try and keep you in fear. They keep you in anger. They are things that try and keep you in many different emotions that are not going to serve you and are only going to make you more and more asleep. So just understand what you're consuming does affect your energy. The information you bring in does affect how much awareness or how awakened you're going to become. And again, it's just not just stay at the level of TV or things of that nature. It's also what you're consuming on the internet. What YouTube channels are you watching? What kind of games even you're playing. Every one of these things you will start to consume, and it will affect you in many different ways. And so the obvious cure to this is, one, to avoid those kinds of things. So things that are in the energy of fear, hate, things of that nature, and to start consuming things that are more in the energy of love and joy. And things, not just those two, but things in that realm, right? Gratitude as well. But when you start consuming things that are coming from those levels of energy, the more you are going to be influenced by that energy and start moving in that way. So for example, watching my channel, I would hope would help you get to those emotions. I would hope would help you to raise your energy, not lower it. And so if you find that when you watch my stuff, it actually makes you think of potentials and possibilities, and it puts you more in your heart, then I would recommend consuming more and more of it, and to keep watching, right? And then applying what I tell you, or what I suggest to you. There's other channels I like, for example, like Aaron Dowdy. I like Infinite Waters. I like Lior Alexandra. I like Victor Odo, Kyle Cease, Peter Sage, these kinds of people, because they always elevate my energy, never bring it down. They always help me to make sure I'm consuming things that are putting me in a state of love, joy, peace, gratitude, motivation, inspiration are good as well. And so if you are consuming the kind of stuff that is lowering your energy, try and remove that more and more, and just consume things that are going to elevate your energy so that you are more open to receiving, more open to actually expanding your awareness, which is what awakening truly is. You're expanding your awareness. You're becoming aware of things that you once weren't aware of. But if you're cut off at a certain emotional level, you'll never gain that awareness. So number 4 is you give more stock, more value to the external world than the internal world. You move more in the physical world than the inner world. And you see, many people think that by influencing the physical world, it's going to change their inner world. But it's actually the other way around. It's inner to outer, not outer to inner. But it doesn't stop many people from thinking, once I achieve this in the external, once I do this in the physical, everything's about the external, then the inner will change. Or many people don't even believe in the inner world. They just think everything is in the external world. But nothing is cutting you off from your own growth more. Nothing is cutting you off from the expansion of your awareness more, from awakening, than putting all of your attention on the physical world. Because like I said, how it actually works is it's the inner world to the outer world. When you influence and affect your inner world, when you start to go inward more and more, you influence your external world in an equivalent way. So for example, if you start becoming more loving, you start entertaining only loving thoughts, thoughts of joy, abundance, all of that different stuff, you think to yourself in a more loving way, you show self-love, then you're going to start experiencing that more in your external world. But a lot of people put a lot of stock in the physical world, in the external world, a lot in like things like money, in things in like attention and fame and things of that nature, thinking it will make them happy. But almost every single person that achieves those kinds of things without working on the inner world always says it's not going to give you what you want in life. It's not going to be the things that actually help you feel fulfilled, help you go where you want to go. A lot of people are trying to earn money because they think it's going to help them feel love or gratitude or abundance, when you can feel that literally right now. No one is cut off from those emotions. Whether you are someone who has no money at all versus all the money in the world, you could access, both of you as easily access gratitude, abundance, joy, love right now. And so when you do that, when you start from the inner world and then allow that to influence your physical world, that's when the magic starts to happen. But again, if you're so caught up in the physical world only and you're not going inwardly, you're not doing meditations, you're not looking at your own subconscious mind, your own emotions, your own energy, then it's going to be very hard to awaken. It's going to be very hard to gain the awareness you need to move along your spiritual path and to awaken, because it's all an inner game. A lot of the answers you're seeking, also a lot of the awareness comes from going inward, where your spiritual tools are, where your spiritual mechanisms that connect you with the divine, connect you, you can say, with the spiritual world, even with the quantum world. They all exist within you or of you. They're not things that are out here in the external world. And so again, if your goal is to awaken, if your goal is to gain more awareness, then you have to start learning to go more inwardly. Start doing the meditation, start doing the things that are going to help you to raise your energy. And I promise you, if you do that, your awareness will start to expand pretty quickly, and you will start to go through more and more of an awakening. Number three is another big thing, and this is very relevant to the times that we are in because you're seeing this all over the place, and you're seeing firsthand how asleep a lot of people are, but you're also seeing a lot of people awaken. I, for one, think it's a really interesting time because not only am I so shocked by how many people truly are asleep or were asleep, but I'm also incredibly encouraged by how many people through what's going on have become more and more awakened, have seen that things are not what they've been told, or that they've had the wool pulled over their eyes. And number three is you listen to government or authorities without question. And you just listen to them. Whatever they say goes. Whatever they say is automatically morally right or even right for you, and you just go along with it. For example, we're seeing so many things, I'm not even going to go over all the things because I don't know why, there's so many words that now they are weaponizing on YouTube, which can get a lot of people in trouble. But, for example, you question, why is it we have to socially distance? And then an answer is given, and you actually look into it a little more instead of just complying and going, okay, well, I guess what you say goes. If you think that the intentions, for example, of people in power, and then again, we'll go government or authorities, is completely pure and they have your best interests at heart, it's going to be a huge struggle for you to awaken. Because a part of the awakening process is being self-authorized, making your own decisions, being someone who doesn't look for someone to hold their hand to go through and take action and go through the process. Now, you will be co-creating with the universe. And so there will be a dance that happens, a yin and a yang that happens, a flow that happens with the universe. So it's not that you're going on this alone. But if you're always waiting for someone to do something for you, if you're always saying, I'm not going to decide my morals or my values until the government tells me what they are, until this authority tells me what they are, then you are holding yourself, especially from awakening, back extremely. Because for you to start awakening, for you to start gaining certain awareness, you have to start taking on a certain level of responsibility for your growth, for your awareness, for your awakening. And so if you blindly follow, and it doesn't have to be government or just the normal authorities, it could be you blindly follow a teacher, a parent, or whatever else it is. You shouldn't blindly follow me, for example. I'm just someone who is presenting information, hoping that it will help you expand your awareness, but you can take it or leave it. If it resonates with you, it's something that you probably should take on board. If it doesn't resonate with you, you shouldn't follow it. It's really that simple. There's so many teachers out there that are helping so many different people that I don't necessarily agree with, but that means I'm just not going to follow what they are saying. I wouldn't stop them from saying it or say that they're completely wrong, but from my worldview, I would say that's not the best tool for me personally. And so you have to start having that level of discernment. But if you're someone who doesn't have discernment, and again, you just blindly are following, you're not going to be able to awaken. You're not going to be able to expand your awareness. Again, this is not talking about co-creating. Within that word co-creating, you are co-creating. You are also creating. It's not only you, but it is also you. You are participating instead of passively allowing people to dictate how you live your life, right? So that is a huge one if you are just conforming or giving in to, again, I say it like this because who made the authorities who they are? Again, you can look at it, so many things that are coming out. And again, I'll let you do your own research on that because it's not really the place to talk about it right here, but just look at who these people in control of your life, these authorities are, what their backgrounds are, what their agendas are. Follow the money trail and see where it goes, for example, and see if these people have your best interests at heart, like they claim to do, or see if they might have some other agenda going on. And once you realize, if you realize, I don't want to project my beliefs onto you, but if you realize they don't have your best interests at heart, which is what I've come to realize, again, that's just my opinion, then I have to look at that and go, well, I can't trust them to give me the information that's going to help me live a fulfilled, healthy, whatever type of life I actually want to go for. I have to take that on board and do that myself and align me with people who are actually trying to help me, who are trying to live similar types of lives. Again, I follow certain mentors, I follow certain teachers, but only because I vetted them. And I do truly believe they have my best interests at heart. I truly believe they're coming from their heart. I truly believe that they are someone who really wants the best for me. In the same way that I want the best for you guys, which is why don't take this if it doesn't serve you. I'm not going to have an ego about it. I just only want you to take on board whatever I say if you actually think it will serve you. I think it will, but it might, based on whatever your beliefs, ideals, or what you're going for is, it might not. And that's fine. But ultimately, again, if you are just blindly following authority, government, whatever else it is, it's going to be very hard for you to go through your own awakening. So number 2 is similar, but we're taking it away from government and authorities and just putting it on regular, everyday people. And so number 2, that's the sign that's going to stop you from awakening. That's means you're not ready for the Great Awakening. Is you are caught in Goop and you are not the star of your movie. Now, what is Goop? Goop is simply the good opinion of other people. And how many people do you know, or have you actually noticed this in your own life? How many people do you know aren't doing what they truly want to do in their heart, in their soul, because of the opinions of other people, because what it might make someone in their life think about them, because what it might make a family member think about them, or a friend, or someone within their circle, or someone at church, or someone wherever else. So many people are not doing what they truly want to do, which again, this is what this channel is about, guys, giving you the permission to be self-authorized, giving you the permission to go out there and do what it is you truly want to do, not what someone else wants you to do, not what someone says would be the best for you, what you believe that is, what your heart connects to. But a lot of people will feel like they want to go do something. They love this one thing or something else or whatever it is. And they want to go do it. They want to go travel. They want to start a new occupation. They want to start their own business. They want to be with a specific person, whatever it is. But they don't do it because they're caught up in Goop, the good opinion of other people. And the other part of that I mentioned is not being the star of your own movie. And what you have to understand is that we are all going through a personal reality. We are all going through our own movie. There's an amazing analogy in the book, The Four Agreements and the Fifth Agreement, that goes over, imagine you're in a mall and every shop is actually an individual movie theater. And above the shop, you see the name of the person whose movie it is. And you go in there. For example, he gives examples of your mom. Maybe he says your lover or your beloved. He says maybe some friends of yours. And you go in and you look at their movie and you realize, oh, it's actually the movie of my mom's life or the movie of my partner's life or whatever else it is. And you start to watch the movie and you notice yourself in the movie. And then you actually get to see how they see you and realize, wow, that's not how I see myself. That's not who I am. And then you get angry and you go to another and you go to another and you keep seeing that people are seeing you actually in different ways based on their movie, based on how they interpret reality. And you also notice that they're focused on themselves. However, so many people in their movie are playing a secondary character. They're playing the supporting role. They're not even being the star of their movie because they're so concerned with what other people will think. And so instead of being the star of their movie, coming fully into their power, singing their song as loudly as they can, they become small to fit the movies of everyone else. They become small so that they don't make so much noise that other people don't approve of it. But to go on this journey of discovering not only what you truly are, but to also connect to that, you have to live full out. You have to be the star of your movie. That doesn't mean you're being selfish. That doesn't mean you don't care for other people. It means you understand that you can't help people from an empty cup. It means you understand you can contribute much more to people in your life that you love when you have a cup that's overflowing than a cup that's half full or empty. You understand that when you love yourself, truly, when you come from a place of abundance and you take the time to look after yourself, when you're on that frequency, you will act in the external world from that frequency, which means you will treat other people with actual genuine compassion, love, and everything else. You will be the permission for other people to step in their own power and to live lives that they want, to be the stars of their own movie. But if you're not the star of your own movie, if you're not living life in the way that you truly want to live it, it's going to make awakening, it's going to make expanding your awareness so much harder because you're consistently stepping on eggshells around other people because you're afraid of Goop, the good opinion of other people. And again, one of my mentors said that there are two things that hold people back more than anything else, and he mentioned Goop being one of them. He said it's probably the biggest one, Goop, the good opinion of other people. So many people have lived lives of quiet desperation in this form because they're afraid of what other people will think. Don't let other people hold you back, guys. Again, that's just my recommendation. That's my invitation. You can do whatever you want. But in my eyes, why would you let someone else live your life for you? It's your life to live. Again, you have all the spiritual tools, all the mechanisms to live it in a fulfilled way. Because if you just connect with your heart, it will lead the way for you. It will guide you. And if you just do that, instead of listening to all of these external things, which includes the people around you, saying how you should live, if you actually listen to this, I think it will never lead you astray. And number one is you allow fear to consume you and you don't take leaps from your heart. And why I put these two together is because I think the most common emotion that people are in who are not awakening is fear. Fear is the emotion that most people are in because you just see how many people watch the news or they're looking at negative media or whatever else and they're getting hooked into it. You wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't resonating at a level of fear. And the other thing is also, if you were resonating at a level of fear, it will show in your physical reality because people in fear never make moves. They never take risks. They never actually take leaps from their heart. You know, another one of my mentors always talks about leaping into the unknown, that your heart really longs to do something, and instead of questioning it from your head, to just go off and do it. You know, I did that when I moved to Thailand, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. I did that when Lily came into my life, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. You know, all of the best decisions of my life have come about leaping from my heart, of saying, you know, screw you, fear, moving into courage, and then leaping off the cliff edge and learning to fly on the way down. Don't actually do that. That's a metaphor. But that has brought about the magic in my life, the best things in my life, the best lessons, the best circumstances, the inner peace and tranquility, finding beautiful places like this and being able to live in these places for months at a time. It's just stunning here. The energy and everything else here. We love it here in this pretty much remote place in Thailand. And none of that would have occurred if we didn't take leaps into the unknown from our heart. Again, you're not just taking leaps to take leaps. You're taking calculated leaps in the sense that they resonate with you. They're from your heart. You know in your soul that you want to go do something. For example, you know you want to quit that job and start this thing that you're passionate about. And you know it's not a head thing. You know in your heart that's what you want to do. For example, you know you want to move countries like as I did. And you know in your heart that's what you truly want to do. And if you do that, amazing things could happen. And so you go do it. But one thing that's going to hold you back from awakening and gaining awareness is being in fear and not taking those leaps. Because guess what? More awareness, higher levels of awakening, more spiritual teachings, lessons are on the other side of that leap. And you will never learn them until you actually take the leap. People who live in fear are usually very similar in personality and growth and everything else from one year to the next, so long as they stay in fear. I mean, how many people have you ever seen or experienced that they have gone decades maybe, and they're pretty much the same person, maybe even a little bit worse, maybe even a little further back than they were when they started? It's because year upon year, they've allowed fear to consume them and they've never taken the leaps that they definitely have felt in their heart they want to do. They've always felt, you know, maybe I want to leave this person. Maybe I want to go travel to this place. My heart's telling me that I want to pursue this career, not this one. My heart's telling me not to do that and instead go in this direction. Everyone feels it, but it's only the people that actually pursue it, that actually take the leap, the physical action of leaping, that end up gaining more awareness, moving further along this path and everything else. And so again, if you are finding you're in fear a lot, again, try and transmute that. Try and move up the consciousness scale, the energetic scale. If you're finding that there's just this thing you really want to do and you know in your heart, in your soul that you really want to do it, entertain the idea of actually doing it and seeing what happens. And again, it's not a call to action in the sense of this is what you have to do. These are my opinions, but I really invite you to take a leap from your heart, because in my eyes, whenever I've seen someone do that, it has never led them astray. It has only led them on to better and better things. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Those are 5 signs you are not ready for the Great Awakening. Again, don't get disheartened if you're displaying any of these. I want this to be something that gives you awareness and gives you hopefully some guidance if you are falling into some of these. And hey, I've fallen into some of these from time to time. You know, for example, I sometimes still fall into watching things I probably shouldn't be watching. But again, because I have that awareness of what that means, it's very easy for me to go, oh crap, I shouldn't be watching this. I don't want to watch this. This is not what I'm aligned with. Time to switch it off. Time to change into something else. Time to take a step back and again, reaffirm what it is I really want to be bringing into my life. So again, you know, don't get dismayed if you're falling into some of these. Just get excited about now having this in your awareness and allowing that to be the catalyst for change. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I really, really appreciate you doing so. As always, I love you. The Great Awakening is upon us, guys. I really want you to be as prepared as you possibly can to embrace it, to love it. As always, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.